Hi, Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. And today we're going to be making seared pork chops with vegetables. So we've marinated our pork a little bit in advance in some nice Dijon mustard. And we've got some zucchini and some bell pepper. And we've pre-cooked a little bit of rice to go along with it. Now we're going to do our vegetables in a separate saute pan, or you could do this all on the grill. Just depends on what you've got going on. We've got a cast iron skillet, smoking hot. We've just a little bit of oil on top, and that's all that's smoking right now. It's just a tiny bit of the oil, and that's how we know that it's good and hot. So we're going to pop our chops on. That's what you want to hear, is that sear. Do the same thing here. Now we're going to give these a good 3 to 4 minutes on the first side before we ever even turn them to get a nice crust. We'll flip them over, give them a couple more minutes, and then we'll pop them in the oven. These are a thick chop, so that way we'll let them finish cooking in the oven to the appropriate internal temperature. All right, so now we're going to start to sear our pork chops here, and while we're doing that, we're going to work on our vegetables in this other skillet. Just a little bit of oil. It's a very simple dish to throw together. We'll let those go. We want to leave some crunch to our vegetables, so we're actually not going to cook them very long, but long enough to get some of that nice flavor from the pan. You could do this. If you have a large enough cast iron skillet, you could throw these in after, at the very last minute when you pull them out of the oven and the skillet's still hot, and that would be long enough, especially if you want to keep a nice crisp on them like we're attempting to do here. Or again, you could throw these on the grill, get some nice grill marks. You could steam them. So really any kind of vegetable, however you'd like to prepare it, will work perfect with this. And I know that the temptation to mess with the pork chops while they're searing is always high when it comes to searing anything, but you really have to fight that urge and just wait. The pork chops will release themselves whenever they're ready, when they form that nice crust on the other side, and then we can flip them, sear them on the other side, and pop them into the oven to finish cooking through. And that's a classic technique. It's used in restaurants all over for anything from steaks to chicken to fish. You'll give it a brown on both sides and then pop it in the oven to finish to free up stove space. So it's definitely a technique that has plenty of applications in the home. I think this one's about ready, so we're going to flip it over. That one just needs a couple more minutes on that side. Flip this one. Nice color there. Just a couple of minutes on that side before we pop them into the oven to finish cooking through. Alright, so we're ready to throw our chops into the oven. You want to be extremely careful when you're doing this because the pan's really hot. We're going to pop these in at 375. We're going to give these about 8 to 10 minutes, but you want to check them with your thermometer. Depending on the size of your chop, it could take a little bit more or a little bit less. All right. We'll go ahead and set our vegetables aside. Got a little bit of color to them. They're nice and crisp. All right, so we're ready to pull our chops out of the oven. Smell delicious. We've checked them with our thermometer. So now you want to let them rest before you slice into them. Allow those juices to evenly distribute. So our vegetables are all sauteed. Our rice is ready. Our chops are ready. So we'll plate this up and we'll show you the finished product in just a couple of minutes.